All right, so I'm here with Dan. Dan's out from St. Louis. So in preparation for a big guy's trip to Bandon Dunes, he wanted to come out and get a little overhaul going so he sucks less. And promised if I'm ever in St. Louis that he's gonna take me to find the best barbecue.
Best barbecue.
Dan came out. We're gonna kind of, as I'm explaining this, I'm gonna kind of show his before swing up on the screen here. We're gonna kind of replay that over and over. Now, Dan, you said you're about a 15-ish or so index, and the goal is to be a 9 would be the good starting step for, let's say, this year. And then hopefully the way we're doing things, where no band-aids here. This is like we're trying to do everything as good as can be done to where there's no ceiling.
Correct.
Your first swing that I filmed.
Bad.
And you can see, number one, the club face is super duper open throughout the swing. So the first thing we talked about was the face is really open throughout the swing because the grip is really on the weak side. So it makes the club face really open. And then we talked about how you had to really fight the hands over this way in order to square the face. And yet, even with all that fighting to get the face square off of the weaker grip, you still had a really hard time missing it high right. So despite the attempt to turn the face over, it wasn't enough. And generally speaking, you were going high right, especially with the longer clubs. You were really slicing it. A ton of spin. Dan's got enough club head speed to be a plus golfer, no problem. He's got almost tour amount of speed with the irons, crazy amount of speed, effortlessly. So there's no problem there. Now it's about, he said, I'd love to hit a 300-yard drive someday, and I told you might already have the speed to do that, since that takes maybe 105, 106 miles an hour to touch 300 yards, but you have to have the right launch and spin combination. So we talked about strengthening the grip, which of course is going to make the feeling of squaring the face quite different. It's what we've talked about a lot of different mental images, like skipping a rock, throwing a frisbee, cutting something with a knife this way, slamming a door. A lot of different mental images that I threw at you the last couple days, but you're starting to kind of figure out your own translation of all those things. So these are just jumping off points. You shouldn't adhere to something an instructor tells you if you can find something, an idea that works better to do the same movement. You want to do your own thing that you can relate to. So the result is, instead of the face going really open to closed through the impact zone, we're going to get a face that's a little bit more square and exiting square, even though to you it feels severely closed to severely open because you have such a history of working your forearms over so hard. So that was our first idea, is we're going to get a stronger grip back to more neutral again. And of course that will change the hand action necessary to square the face. Remember at first what you were doing when we strengthened the grip? You were hooking the crap out of it. Just hooking the crap out of it. Okay, so then the next thing we saw, that the TrackMan was telling us that your average swing was like 6 degrees out to in. So too much out to in, probably to play really good golf. That's probably a little too much. So we wanted to get some swings where you experience swinging on the inside out. We did that with the bucket and the stick drill that you guys have probably seen before. Done a number of videos using the bucket and stick to force you to swing on the inside. Now the great thing about Dan, it took him about 5 swings to get way on the inside. He never touched the stick. He had too much into out. I took it away and he just remembered. So it doesn't happen that fast usually. And so
the trip was worth that alone, even though I got more.
So now we've combined coming more from the inside with a stronger grip, and you could see right away he started hitting everything really fat and hooking it, just pull hooking it badly with the closed face, which leads us to the second half. And of course, all of a sudden, I told him, you're like this extravagant invention that's all balanced out. All the different parts are balanced out. And as soon as we kick one over, the whole equation's good. It doesn't matter where we start, we were going to knock the equation out of balance. So you look at the next thing we're looking at here, and you see that in relationship to the chair that we always use, he's moving about 4 inches forward with his hips, which prevents him from rotating. So Dan, you remember what you described to me as how your contact always was, like until you got here? Like it hasn't been like that after the first half hour. We've been striking, always thin, always clicky. So even your nickname was clicky because everything was like a groove low, never any divots, just a sweeper.
Never.
And TrackMan was telling us that his low point was simply not far enough forward. And so of course, you start swinging inside out with a stronger grip and you're working the forearms over, and you're really gonna get a fat drop kick hook, a lot of shots more on the toe, and he was hitting them just left of left. And so we gotta balance the equation back out again with a pivot where the rear end stays back, allowing you to rotate the chest way more and get the path, the handle path going around to the left. And that just balanced the equation out quite nicely because we spent the latter half of yesterday with, you know, perfect low point location and really good path. The path was hovering around 0 or a couple degrees into out. The angle of attack was right in the corridor where the pros on TV would do it. And you were remarking about the contact all of a sudden was just
night and day.
And the distance that you were getting. You were compressing it a lot better. We saw way higher smash factor numbers, and everything sounded so much different, better. And so you must have been experiencing some really nice
sounds I haven't heard in 24 years.
Solid hitting. Okay, let's bring the chair in. And why don't you just show them the half swing practice swings you've been working on. So we have what we're now calling a strongish grip. So he's got the left thumb is turned over. He can go a little more on the left hand. Yes. Okay, so he's turned over at least an hour on each hand on the grip. So right now, you can turn the left hand a little more over. That's right. That's crazy, huh? Okay, so that's a little bit on the strongish side where he's got the creases. You want to turn and face the camera just for a second. And you see it's not overly strong really. It's a little stronger than neutral, but it's a good place to practice at. But of course, what does this feel like to you? It feels really foreign, right? Like you could really turn it over on accident. Okay, and so show them on the chair, everything put together, those really slow motion practice swings, just halfway back, halfway through. Good. And so what we're working on here, really nailing down, is this release action where we're going to come around this way more. Now you see he's exited more low and left, and you might not see it from this camera angle, but he's now flapping his right wrist into what we'd call mild flexion. Left wrist is pinned back in extension, but we want to be able to have the club face pointing more back at the camera over here rather than towing down like that. So that would be too much face closure likely through the impact zone. This would be a square face to the arc where the arc is currently right now in this point in the swing. So we're working on right now is working on the feeling of flapping the wrist through for speed while keeping it square to the arc and exiting low and left enough like that. So show them a couple more practice swings. Slow and easy, 10%. Small lift, big lift. Okay, let me see. No, that's holding onto the wrist. Let me see you flap it through. That's right. That's right. So we'll be able to see it come out from behind your back if you do that. Good. Flap. Okay, so that's flapping toe down too much. So that means the right forearm would have done more of this action. So let's flap it through face up. Okay, you held on to it. So that'd be like if we were playing baseball, that'd be a check swing. That's right.
Gotcha.
Okay, so let's feel that again. It's going to be flap. Very free flap all the way to here. So show me that again. So we're still trying to nail down this release, the hand action that's going to go along with the release. There. So that just felt like, you know, taking the baseball bat and slapping it through. Small lift, big lift of the chair. Great. Now you're actually exiting. You showed me an exit that's finally too low and left, which I love to see on the practice swings, because that's what we got to work on more. Okay, let's show a few more, kind of slow and easy. Small lift, big lift. That's terrific. And so with the grip being so far over to the right, of course, if you're used to working this forearm over hard, it's hard to get out of that at first. And so what the challenge has been is to take that strongest grip, and just like we were talking about all the other people, Duval, JB Holmes, a lot of golfers that you've heard of have taken a strong grip and faded the ball. So that's our challenge right now, is to get the forearm working under as we go around to the left in his mind. Very slicey for a lot of people watching, but for him, since you're used to working it this way, working that forearm under like pitching a screwball is quite extreme. So go ahead and pitch a few balls now. He's going to try to stick on the chair and increase the pressure going back, lift the chair going through. This is going to be like a 75-yard pitch with a 9-iron, real slow and easy. Okay, we'll try it again. On the strike of the ball. Now, again, this is why Dan is so high percentile, because he was able to strike the ball fairly well pretty quickly. But a lot of you out there, then this is not normal. Most people out there will struggle with contact with any kind of change they make, but you still got to change if you're going to get better. Okay, pretty good. So here what we're trying to do, we know that on his backswing, in the first video we looked at, and one of the things we have been working on is keeping the rump back. On his backswing, typically he would move forward 2 inches and then forward 2 more inches on the downswing. And this is really typical pattern for someone who early extends, is to go forward to set up the downswing, just like a base stealer will do a little extra step and a little bit of a lean. You'll hedge in the direction that you're going to move in the downswing. We always do stuff in the backswing to make what we're going to do in the downswing easier. We set it up for it. So the command he's giving himself is increase the pressure going back and then lift it outright going through. Okay. Really good move. Go ahead and do that again with, just have to, you like the ball there? Is that okay? Doesn't matter. You put it where you want. We have to position this one tighter. It's your high-tech anti-shank device. Okay, good, stronger grip. Fade spin. Terrific. So get a little more rotation. Super. Actually hit a little bit of cut spin there. So stronger grip and hitting a cut is not supernatural for him. You see, we have a lot of different elements here. Let's see what your path and angle of attack are now. His original angle of attack was 6 degrees out to in, but only like 1 degree downwards with an 8-iron. Off the wall too much and short of the post. So a pivot error. Remember how I would hold the noodle.
Yep.
Okay, let's go a little narrower on the feet and you'll get there more easily. Strongest grip. Now let's see you concentrate on posting your hip. Super swing. Okay, so post up and turn. Good. Okay, So I want to show people something here. The shaft at the moment, we're going to keep working on this. Appears to be, because everything else you've done, you've pulled off reasonably well. But this one thing, that shaft had a little bit, was a little vertical at the end with the toe a little bit shut. So face that way for a second and put the club just in your left hand only. Actually, you can do both for a second. So from the face on, the shaft ending up like that at impact would be holding the right wrist and turning and then flipping the toe over this way. So that's how the shaft will get exactly how you did. That's the combination of movement that we had to make the shaft look just like this. So you can see right here that this wrist is in an extension slightly, and of course you will have turned the shaft. So you see, holding that right wrist in extension, this curve in the wrist right here, normally that would make you come in with the club face open. You see that? So the hands are nicely ahead, like some people like to see them, a lot of forward lean, but now you got to put in this. And so instead, what we're trying to do is flap the wrist into flexion so that we can square it up without having to turn the shaft over. And so come back around here again, and gonna show them the before and after that we're going for. So what you just did look more like this. Okay, that was the follow through that we just did. And we're trying for, if you were to flap without turning, the shaft's gonna come out, and where we'd like to see it come out is parallel to the shoulders, right out at the bottom of the sleeve. So from the camera view, that club's coming just below the sleeve with the face pointing back at the camera. So that is what we would describe as shaft is on, continues to circle on plane, get released on plane, with the face tracking square to the arc the whole way. So we're trying to flap it low left. Can you concentrate on that for a few hits softly? Let me see you free flap it around low left. Do the practice swing first and hold it, and we'll check it. Okay, hold it there. Now, everyone from this angle, and I can see that club is coming out parallel to your shoulders, just below the sleeve, and the toe is just a little more closed than we would like it. It's pretty good. Open it up a little bit. Yes. Yes, okay. Show me a swing and pause it right there. Excellent. Excellent job. Rotate. Wonderful. Wonderful exit. Okay, so now the next step, when you've done that a couple times to your liking, and now you know how to kind of stop halfway and pose, and you know what your check marks are. Your check marks are that face is pointing this way, the club shaft is flapped through at an angle, and now we're going to do it with the ball in the way, very softly, very slowly. So keep the length of swing down and hold your finish again. That is just one of the best swings so far. Absolutely brilliant. Not an accident that went so clean and straight. Flap around to the left. Oh, so good. So again, a little baby open face cut, which we're really liking when you're erring on that side of the curve rather than continuing kind of to hook it. Okay, so again, we have a path of 0, and instead of only a 1 degree downstrike, now with a 9-iron, we're down to a 5 degree downstrike. So we're right in our corridor for exactly what we would say our good player model is. So we're just taking like the tour averages, and we're just calling that our good player database, where we would like to be somewhere in the vicinity of these with our TrackMan numbers. Okay, so we have a closed face there. You can see how the exit was more toe down, and very easy to fall back into reflex habits when you add any speed to it. It's crazy how easy. So now that you've seen that one, let's make an adjustment. Flap it through with the face more open. Much, much better. Only a little hook. Now again, your path is straight enough, but the face was 2 degrees shut. So we need to find 2 degrees more under with the flap of the forearm. Super. Again, path is very straight, 1 degree out to in, angle of attack 4.5 down. So with a 9-iron, we'd say probably our corridor would be somewhere around 3.5 to 5.5 degrees downwards strike with the 9-iron. But what we really like about that one is that you left the face slightly open to get some fade spin. So we're working counter. Everything we're doing with our drills is to work counter to what Dan's natural instinct is. So for example, show them the chair lift. So we're doing what we call a Trevino style chair lift. Just real slow, small lift, big lift, and flap it through. Flap the club around to the left further. There we go. Good. So instead of going 4 inches forward, we're going to practice going a minimum of 1 inch backwards, because that is our good player average in the database. So if you can even beat 1 inch backwards, that would be good too. That's super. And what we're doing there essentially is, go ahead and take it back and stop halfway. What this move is freeing up for us, see right now, temporarily, his left butt cheek is circling off the wall down and around to wind him up. His thigh and his knee are actually in the way of where we want the club to go. So we have to put this butt cheek and this knee back in order to free up this space, because this is where the handle needs to circle around. So slowly start to post up and lift the chair. There. Now the left side, the knee and the thigh and the hip have all cleared out of the way, and now we have room to send the handle around the arc so we can get a straight path, lots of speed, and lots of squaring force. And that's what that move is for. So important to get the left hip posting up. So we're going 6 inches this way, 1 inch this way. Meanwhile, the head stays back in the center of the feet. So really good look at the body position here. And we just add that release to it. It always comes down to step and throw. We talked about every swinging sport, striking sport, is step and throw. In this case, it's going to be pivot and release, but it's just fancy words for saying step and throw, step and strike. It's all the same. Okay, let's see. Let's see you go for one at 140-yard par 3. This is going to be a smooth 9. Dan discovered yesterday that he can actually hit an 8-iron 170 yards when he starts doing everything more efficiently. Okay, we'll try it again. Focus on your pivot. As many tries as you want. Okay, strongest grip, small lift, big lift. Oh yeah, one of the best swings of the week right there. That's terrific. So there you got the face to be just 0.7 close, much better control. And we're on the left half of the green at 138 carry. So you were very, very, very good with your distance control. Let's see if you can do that one more time with the face of the club, maybe 1 more degree open, flapping through. So the pivot, the chair is small lift going back, big lift going through. Super. A lot of power there for just an easy, smooth swing. People will be very jealous at how far you're hitting these and how fast you're able to swing. Lift. Flap it through open. Yeah. Keep practicing. This is why we're practicing lots of dry swings. That's better. Because how many elements? You'd drive yourself nuts with this is like soup to nuts fix. It's like an entire alphabet. It's like a scroll. It's like You're making the proclamation to the king, and the scroll rolls out and hits the floor of all the stuff that you're trying to think of. So what we're doing with these dry swings, we're trying to put everything into one fluid motion. That's a great release. Let it flap through a little freer and further. Beautiful exit. That's wonderful. A little freer whip action. Okay, so we're just gonna, we're gonna intend on hitting the 6-iron about 120 or so, or like we were hitting a 9, 120. Let's see that you do that. Just easy swing, very slow. Very good. All right, since Dan is trending just a little bit more down and across than we would like, I'm going to remind him of the stick and bucket drill. Remember that? Okay, so just all you got to do is think about staying inside the basket. Very good. Okay, so more rotation out in front.
Not enough.
Strongest grip. Let's focus on your pivot now. You're going to pivot all the way to the post. If you're probably shorting it this way, if you're hitting them fat.
Yep.
So forward and around. Very nice. Nice pivoting there. That one's right on line.
And out.
And what people will be super jealous of, Dan, here is, I mean, that's a 6-iron swinging at 50, 60%. I mean, it's not a full swing. You're almost feeling like you're going in slow-mo.
Yep.
And yet that's 88 miles an hour clubhead speed. So the average on the PGA Tour for a 6-iron is somewhere 92, 93 miles an hour, which you would be at if you just felt like it right now. No problem, because this is 88. So to put that in perspective, an absolutely flush shot at 88 miles an hour with a 6 should net you about, close to 185 yards or more. Very good. Now don't move. So we're going to take one more look at that club shaft finishing.
Yep.
And so you can see this is going to be, look at how good you're doing posting. Now, it may just be a matter of still choosing which part of the swing you're going to lay most of your focus. So you might go back and forth and do 5 or 10 in a row of each. But we can see pretty much that you're doing a lot better with this, but this one is really the sticking point. So you're going to be doing a lot of practice swings at home and in between golf balls to get away from this. Again, this vertical shaft means that it's like a check swing, and with a little bit of less toe twist this time. But let's take a look at that exit again. We're coming around just like that. Just like that. So this wrist will be slightly this way. This wrist will be pinned back pretty big.
Yeah.
But the club will be, the Golf Pride logo will be face up still instead of turned sideways. It'll be up. Okay, so let's see 2 practice swings above the ball with that flappy open-faced exit and hold it. So don't hit this time. Flap it around. Okay, freer with the flap. This way more. Hold it on to it. That's right. Okay, much better. All right, let's flap it around to the left with the face square. Much better. That ball got hit, didn't it? Good. We've got a little slice spin on that, which is fine. Still, again, learning how to, with the stronger grip, is to get away from this cranking over action that we don't need anymore, making the face go open to square. So in your feeling, you'd feel like throughout the swing, even right from the takeaway, with the grip being stronger, it'll feel like the club goes back closed rather than normal. And coming down, it will feel really off balance in a closed way.
Oh yeah.
I can understand the feeling that you might be going through. Really difficult to figure out how much how much you got to put in the stew. All right, so we can move this ball forward. Let's just try moving it forward about another 2 golf balls. Just try one like that. You should probably feel like it's up off your left heel, and it really isn't. Okay, slap it through to the left. Very good. You understand the evolution here. It's so funny. We talked about pairs of errors.
Yeah.
That your swing is built on probably 2 or 3 perceptual errors that as an athlete you found the pairs. You found, since your grip was weak, you figured out a way to best square the face by rotating the forearms, etc., etc. Now, in this case, your angle of attack was so lacking. You're like, well, I can't hit it fat. So slowly over time, maybe without even thinking, your ball position evolves further and further back. You're being an athlete trying to make it work, and so you've got these 2 or 3 errors, and rather than, and a lot of people, you don't understand what your path is unless it gets measured or you know what to look for. You have no idea what your path is, but your path was quite a bit out to in, etc. So you figure out how to make it all work when you're an athletic person. You're just like, well, from what I know, I mean, I'm hitting it fat. I'm gonna, even if you don't realize, you start inching the ball. So you had the 6-iron really center, and so this might be a very new feeling. I dare you to put it up. You like the ball? That, show me the distance you're liking this thing. Okay, that is actually a much better 6-iron position where you're at. Now you're about 3 inches from the left instep, much more forward to you. Okay, so we have too much, great pivot, too much toe roll or roll of the forearm. And let's do one more good one here. Put it more forward than that. Even more. Okay. And flap it through with the face more open. Strong strike, huh? So Dan's a very strong dude. I want to say that probably got hit 180 yards with a half a swing. Yeah, 184 carry on that. But what we like better about these compared to the beginning, like that one, that 6-iron had a smash factor of 1.45, which is probably maxed out pretty close for these clubs. But this is probably 8 to 10 points of smash higher than where we started. So the ball is really sailing now compared to what it was. Essentially, we are compressing it way more, striking closer to the center of the face rather than really low on the face. One of the best swings you've made in front of me right there. Do it again. And turn and flap. That's a really good golf swing. Let's put some golf balls in front of that very gently now. Let's say we're going to have the intention of making this roll out to 200 yards. So we're talking about 160 or 70 in the air. Your first focus right now is winning the money by being inside to out. That's going to be the money right now. So just because you're hitting down and across. Yes. You shouldn't have any problem with this if you're swinging under the stick and bucket. Okay, good start. Again, we would expect to see it.
I held on to it, I didn't flap it.
We'd expect to see it pulling and hooking. Again, we go back to, and on a driver, the reflex of wanting to do this so much is going to be strong, but we're pretty good. We're pretty neutral there. 0 path, slide up strike, so we're good. So the ball went left because the face was 9 degrees shut. Now, even though your grip is 25 degrees stronger biased, we got to figure out how to make the club face open to the path anyway. There you go. Nice drive. Good. Much better approach to the ball. Keep it at it. Therefore, if we move this number to 5 to the right, a good chance this goes 5 up and you're still at 0. And that's when you're going to get your max distance out of it. So look what I'm going to do. Watch what I do with the basket.
More.
See? Go easy and slow so you don't wipe your shaft out on that stick. It's getting pretty tight now. Yep. Good pass at it. Nicely done. Okay, we'll do that. Let's do that again. So at the moment, you're now feeling like you're really slinging it massively into out, I would bet, compared to what you're used to.
Yeah, yeah.
And does it feel very low down here behind you when it comes in, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, stay right there for a sec. Couple things I want to do. I'm going to move this, and I want you to walk an inch to your right with it. So the better ball position for more up strike. And get ready.
Yep.
Second thing I'm going to do is just give you a little bit of a tilt and turn this way.
Okay.
What that's going to do is make it feel much more natural to get under the stick. Don't worry about that now. Just give me an inch of tilt and turn to right field. So turn to right field more. Hold it there. So right now you're a little bit in left field. Now you're square.
Oh wow, this is a square driver.
That's square. Now watch how much more natural your club wants to go back under the stick.
Yep.
Okay, miss the bucket and stick and you win the money. Very nice with the plane there. Could really tell. Now we're cooking. So check out. Now you're on the right plane. See, 5 to the right.
Strange.
3 up. It's only a path of 1.4 to the inside. It's how extreme.
Sure.
So we're going from at least 6 degrees out to in on the driver.
Yep. Yep.
And we're going, which means your swing plane was probably 8, 9, 10 degrees to the left because the angle of attack, the way it weaves into the path. Now all of a sudden you're swinging with a swing plane of a few degrees to the right.
Yep. And
it's encouraging an up strike. Okay, so walk behind the ball more. So the ball is up off, looks like it's off your pinky toe in your mind.
Oh, wow.
It won't be.
Oh,
It's not. It's a lie.
I got you.
Now hold it there. Now since this bucket and stick appear now to be so in the way, and if you were to line up like this, it really would be.
Oh, yeah.
It'd be really awkward to miss it.
Yep.
But if I can take you to here,
Okay.
it'll feel very natural to kind of wally cock underneath that stick. There you go. So when's the last time you hit a draw from the right? Never hit that shot before.
Not one time.
So there we're at a swing plane of just 3, only 3 to the right. So a little bit inside out with a draw, first time you've ever done it. So stick and bucket drill, but you can see the little bit of adjustments that we've also made on top of the stick and the bucket. We're also getting the shoulders squared up and tilted a little bit right there. Now that feels like we're going to call this right center field upper deck. Feels like you're going to uppercut. If this was baseball, you're going to hit it into right field and uppercut it. Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah.
So I want you to go with that feeling and go ahead and uppercut it to right field. Great. Super.
I don't know where these are going, but
Okay.
I'm just focused on this.
You're doing it. You're winning. Now, it's going off to the right. Let's see if we can squeeze in another detail.
Okay.
If you could, you're doing this.
Yeah.
So right now, at least you're not combining, but you are holding,
Yeah.
squeezing really tight.
Yep.
So if you can just get a little bit freer with the bat head. So in other words, you hit a short pop fly to right center field because you checked your swing.
Yep.
It was an excuse me blooper.
Yep.
So let's get you set in that upper deck right field position again here. Now this time I want you to give it the old Kirk Gibson wrist swat. Okay, and I want you to throw the bat head through. Terrific.
I swung it.
Yeah, you squared it up.
Didn't
You
look like
squared.
I did
Yeah, you
Okay,
freed it up.
okay.
You freed it up, absolutely.
Okay.
So plane was 4 degrees to the right, upwards 4, wonderful for
I
distance.
don't ever do that.
Path is 0. No, you don't swing up and
Whenever I see that on a,
no, that's not
it's bad.
normally. Okay, so now that you're on the right track, right, the club head is now starting to be on a much more efficient track. Walk this way more. That's right. Now it's actually on your big toe. Now, because
To me,
since
it looks like it's
correct,
I got
it's outside. Since your head is here,
Okay.
you're looking at it on the oblique. It's going to look, especially what your eye is trained to see.
Yep.
But if we lay a stick down, you'd see this is right on your big toe.
Yep.
Now, at least you freed up. So the last few swings, you've been bringing it in under and out
Yep.
to the right, and under, up, and out
Yep.
is when the track of the club head. The last swing, we moved a ladder step higher by at least not doing this, which was making it go to the right, and you actually
Okay.
you freed up the bat head. You
Before I
flung the
rotated?
you flung the bat head.
Okay.
What you also added was
Oh, I did. Okay.
the twist.
Yep.
So if we could start flapping
Yep.
without the twist, that's going to be the next goal. Now, for sure, so check this out. So in this exercise we're doing, we're trying to pull a little bit of a double here. This is our single.
Yep.
So this is our first rung on the ladder. It's a pretty steep rung because we're doing driver in the mid 90 miles an hour,
Right.
staying under the stick. That's not easy.
Yep.
Okay, so next thing we're trying to add is, when we added on the last one was, okay, activate the hands and don't hold.
Yep.
And you didn't slice it, you hooked it. So we're gonna try to work in that flapping without twisting move. That's our third step, but for sure, keep throwing the head free. Okay, upper deck right field, exaggerate the shoulders more, good. And flow with it. Upper deck right field strike. Very good. Do it again.
I can see.
A lot of twist.
I can see.
It's a lot of twist. Yeah.
That's crazy.
So people will be very jealous that was 97 miles an hour, and you're just half swing bunting almost. So you can see there's plenty of power here for some excellent golf. Okay. All right. So we're going to flap it through with the face more like that. That's right. So under the stick and flap. Still closed, huh? At least the hands are getting a bit freer. Hands are getting a bit freer at least. Tell you what, I'm gonna back off a few degrees on here, just for the sake of saving your shaft. You'll break this thing. Okay. So we're gonna square up and tilt a little more, which feels, the under, up, and out feel of hitting feels almost natural now.
Okay.
Right there. And it almost begs you, once you're here, it almost makes the grip being stronger, makes that feel more natural too. So when I move you into this position, can you see how it almost begs for the right hand to be turned over more?
Yeah.
So now here, the only way you can reach that grip is kind of on the underneath more.
Yep.
Which is where we want it. Now you got to figure out how to flap this through without closing the face. So let's see you activate the hands and flap it free. Yeah, release the club free without rolling the shaft in the arms. Good. Super. You did it. See that? Wonderfully done. Yeah, you figured out how to flap the... It's so right. It's so close coming in compared to what you're used to, that and on top of that, you want to do this as your norm. So yeah, of course, anybody's going to badly hook the first few with that grip and arm action. All right, upper deck right field with the shoulders in your mind. More right field. Perfect. Okay, and flap. Way to go, Dan. 2 in a row in the fairway. Spin rate is only 1,800. You notice that ball flew flat like a BB.
Yeah.
Had no climb.
Right.
The ball actually rolled 41 yards. So that's not normal for you to get a driver rolling. Normally what you're used to seeing is what we see generally with the down and across. We'll see, and you're leaving the weak grip, you're having a hard time squaring the face with the weak grip, even though you're trying so hard. But typically you'd see a ball kind of start a little right and climb and slice further right, come down and just stick like it's landing in the mud. So there's a lot of people that are in that boat. You're swinging down and across and probably making a lot of contact with an open face, and the ball tending to hit low and in the heel is probably also, because the ball hitting low on the face and towards the heel merely makes it spin. The open face makes it spin more as well because you're hitting it with more dynamic lofted impact. It's just open is more loft. All right, so now you're getting a feel for this track coming into it this way, and now we got to just simply take this, put this into it and take this out. That's right. It's flapping screwball style. That's right. Okay, so embrace the upper deck right field direction with the swing and flap it.
I didn't rotate at all.
It's a fairway. 3 fairways in a row.